welcome to another episode of the Just Flying series, which with hindsight it's quite a bad name for the series really, as I'm not just flying. It's more of an excuse to ramble on about various shit that enters my head until we arrive at a destination, and occasionally swear in this video series too, hence the warning panel at the start of the Just Flying videos, which probably nobody ever reads anyway. But back to the flight, and we're at NZWO Wairoa, where the weather's lovely, light and variable winds, go either way. Hold point there, but looking at the map, there's no traffic global aircraft inbound at the moment, so we can ignore that. Just go line up and go for it. Just in case you didn't know, this is the Thunder Caravan, by the way. So I've not used for quite a while, so yeah, we'll see what happens. We're up. Yep, all good so far. Yeah, just going to hand fly this one today. It's good VFR conditions and quite easy to navigate, as all we're going to do is follow the coast down to Napier, which actually came up in a quiz question a few weeks ago. Yes, on Tuesdays I quite often meet up with my brother and two other guys, and the pub we go to, they put on a little quiz every Tuesday. All good fun, enjoyable, yeah, it's great. But anyway, one of the rounds they usually do in the quiz is a top 5 kind of thing, and the question from a few weeks ago was name New Zealand's 5 biggest cities. So having been there, it was, okay Daz, this is your question, what do you think? So Auckland, Christchurch, Wellington, they're easy picks. After that I thought Hamilton, yeah, that's a good size, that's very likely to be on the list. And then for number 5, yeah, a few to choose from. I was thinking maybe Dunedin, but in the end went for Palmerston North. So when the answers were given at the end, yes, it did include Auckland, Christchurch, Wellington, Hamilton, and the last one was Napier. So we scored 4 points out of 5 for that round, and that was it. Well, I was a bit curious, so when I got home I had a look on the internet, and no idea where the question setter got his information from, but Tauranga was 5th on the list. Well, according to Wikipedia, which had 2018 information. Though measured by population, Napier's well down was about 8th or 9th or something. But if you filter it to the surface area, the footprint of the cities, Hamilton was then 5th place and Napier number 6. So I suppose it is possible Napier's grown faster than Hamilton since 2018, but although it is equally as possible that whoever sets the questions had simply got it wrong, as that does happen occasionally. Well, it doesn't matter much, as we didn't pick Tauranga anyway, so we'd only have scored 4 out of 5 regardless. There you go. Yeah, but talking about surface area, this is a weird thing I've always wondered. If I got a shovel and started digging, could I eventually turn my house into like a 50-story building, but downwards, underground? I own the house and the land that it sits on, but how far down do I own? I'm guessing there's probably no answer to that, as nobody has ever been stupid enough to try it, but who knows. And, I have had an interesting night out recently, but 2 Saturdays ago to be precise. There was 4 of us, and I was drinking a Belgian beer called Lef, which is really lovely. It's also quite a strong beer too. And I was on that all night, had quite a few, then somebody brought some whiskey as well, and I'm definitely very drunk by the time I got home. So trying to go to bed, I then managed to fall over while taking my trousers off and smash the back of my head into the metal radiator in the bedroom. Now, it was totally fine again on Monday, but when I woke up on the Sunday, I had a hangover, as you would expect, but over a few hours that went away. Although for the entire rest of the day, my head was still a bit fuzzy, not quite right or normal. I think I've probably given myself a beer-related concussion, which is something new. Never done that before, and fingers crossed I won't do it again anytime soon. Here's another thought that passed through my head while I was watching bits about that Japanese plane that hit another aircraft at Haneda and then caught fire. Now, from my own experience, I've never been to Japan, so I was mentally transferring this whole thing to Hong Kong, where I have been. So I had a 2-day stop over there on my big trips over to Australia and New Zealand. So, if that happened in Hong Kong and I'm a passenger, well, I've got my phone, wallet, passport, important stuff like that. They're in my pocket, so that's fine. But then the entire rest of my luggage has just been engulfed in a fire and presumably totally destroyed. So I'm now stood there in a foreign country about to start a 6-7 week trip, and I have absolutely no clothes at all apart from the one set I'm wearing at the time, obviously. Now, that was why I was thinking about Hong Kong, because I'm not the smallest person in the world. 6'2", which works to something like 188 centimetres depending on which system you use. Then for sizes, I usually buy t-shirts that be XXL or triple XL. So there's quite a bit of material in the clothing that I wear. Now, I remember in Hong Kong walking down a really busy street and suddenly realising that I could see forever, because the general populace there are quite short and thin, well, certainly compared to me anyway, and I was tall enough to just be seeing over their heads for a very long way. And browsing in a few shops, I did also notice that with clothing they cater for the sizes of the people who live there, which obviously makes sense, but therefore there was virtually nothing that would fit me. And that would be a total pain in the ass in this scenario. I mean, with both of my NZ trips, I have been to Australia and had a little tour around there. Did that first and then get a flight to New Zealand second. So I suppose I'd just have to try and find something that fits in Hong Kong. It's 2 nights, so even if it's only one change of clothes, I can make do and then have to restock my clothing again properly when I got to Sydney, where they do sell stuff in my side. Definitely a pain in the ass though. But that has just struck me while I'm talking about this hypothetical situation, is I've just survived a plane crash and an emergency evacuation from an ensuing fire. and I'm more concerned about where the hell am I going to buy some new socks from. I suppose in reality, if that did happen, I might need new underpants before I need new socks, but I genuinely don't know. Maybe it's a familiarity with aviation, and knowing as I do, and I assume most of the viewers of this video will know, we're aware of a lot more than an average passenger on a flight would know. And we know when we should be genuinely concerned about something, and more importantly, when not to be. So I have been on a flight ages ago where we hit a small patch of really bad turbulence where a couple of people ended up screaming. There were panic looks on the faces of a few people. You know, for me, I'm just sat there thinking, yeah, that's annoying. I'm not going to get to sleep in this, am I? I think it's the same with the Alaskan one where the door plug blew out a few days ago. I'm fairly certain, after a couple of seconds to assess, yep, we're still flying, we appear to be structurally sound, everything's stable, so yeah, no problem. I'm sure on my part there wouldn't be any panic or worry, and it would just be more of a case of, oh, for God's sake, I'm not going to get to my destination now, am I? And we're going to have to divert and land. Then get another flight. Can Alaskan put one on today, or are we screwed until tomorrow? Yeah, the fact that there's a big hole in the side of the plane probably wouldn't take up too much of my attention, other than maybe admiring the view out of it. I don't know, I'm not sure if that's just a me thing or not. Although I've just thought of something else about that. As of the time of recording this video, they've just found the door plug in somebody's garden. Now, if that falls into my property, as it's in my property now, can I claim ownership of it? So that would make a fairly unique ornament to have. I mean, maybe not if people died or were seriously injured or something, but that's not the case with this one, is it? So, obviously I'd give it to the NTSB or whoever was investigating so they can do their job, but under the theory of it's on my property so it's now mine, could I get them to sign something to legally oblige them to give it back to me after the investigation was complete? I mean, okay, I have no idea what I would do with it. A large and probably dented lump of metal by now. Maybe put it on a wall to display it like a painting. So I mean, the shape of it's not going to be much use as an actual door, is it? You know, I'm not going to be able to fit that onto the fridge or kitchen cabinets. Or actually, perhaps if I just stand it upright next to my desk, then I could start making videos about my world's worst home cockpit. So yeah, that would probably be a good way to go. Yeah, having a scratched, dented and partly broken door, that would be in keeping with some of my landings. So yeah, that's it, definitely. Home cockpit constructed from parts that have fallen off planes. That is now my dream setup. As for this flight though, hopefully nothing's going to fall off it, but we'll have to wait and see with the landing. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it's been quite a while since I got this out the hangar, and I'm not sure what kind of touchdown we're going to manage. I mean, there's plenty of runway at Napier, so no need to worry about stopping even with the long landings. You know, try a gentle float and soft rejoin to planet Earth. That would be lovely if possible. I don't know if you're the same with me with the sim, but I get used to how high the seat and the viewpoint is in a plane, and then you start to get better at judging exactly when the wheels are going to hit. With this one, yeah, I've not flown it in long enough where any mental memory I had of that is disappeared. Although I do recall when I first got it, I'd been using the Baron a lot, so the first few flights in this Caravan, I did fly it into the ground as it had a higher seating position. There's a big bang as the wheels hit the floor, while I'm still thinking that we're still a foot or so in the air from what I was looking at out of the window. We'll find out soon anyway, as that's the runway just up ahead. So place your bets now. What rating out of 10 do you think you're going to give me? And after we land and have a look at the replay, what rating out of 10 will it actually be? Let's see how much of a difference there is in those two numbers. I'm going to go for... Actually, no, I'll tell you my guess later, so I won't influence anybody who does play the game. About the only clue is that I'm going to genuinely try and make it as soft of a touchdown as I can. Yeah, the rating's nothing to do with the approach, centre lines, whether or not I hit the touchdown markings, anything like that. Just simply how hard or soft is the touchdown going to be at Napier, which may or may not be the 5th biggest city in New Zealand, depending on which metric you choose to measure it by, or possibly which year the information source comes from. Right then, looking good, so let's see what we can do. Wind's still light and variable, so it's not making any difference. Yeah, that seemed okay. Just turn around and I'll hit the replay button. Okay. Yeah, very happy with that one. Yeah, so for me, I took a guess at a 6. But that was probably good for an 8.5, maybe even a 9. So, yeah, let's call that a difference of 3. And the realisation that I'm clearly a far better pilot than I thought. Yeah, my expertise is at genius level, even without having a dented 737 door home cockpit. Can you imagine how good I'd be if I did have one of those? Taxi up to the apron and park. I did remember on the way in looking at it, this is another place which has had a new terminal built recently. The more important than that is in the distance over there is the house where Jeffrey lives. He had a leaflet posted through his door today saying, "This Thursday at 6 o'clock, support group meeting for people who fail to achieve an orgasm. let us know if you can't come. Yeah. Although he's not really interested in that, he's still too busy trying to contemplate why only one company is allowed to make Monopoly. Oh God, there you go. 2 bad jokes in one episode. Yeah, that should cheer up one of my regular viewers. Yeah, you know who you are. I won't mention your name because you should be embarrassed about liking my dad jokes. Right, come on little plane, get round the corner. Lovely, that's near enough. Yeah, so there's a Just Flying episode coming into Napier, and yeah, we've landed now, so you can go and do something productive with your life instead of watching this utter drivel that I keep producing. Although I'll be back with more rubbish again soon, so you can waste a bit more of your life then. Right, see you soon. Bye.